bogged down or obscured by the sci-fi trappings they could so easily sink into. But Death Stranding 2 doesn't only look outwards. It's as introspective as any of Kojima's work to date. Metal Gear Solid always looked at geopolitical and nuclear issues on a wide scale. The original Death Stranding challenged our ability to connect as humans in a digital age, but on the beach asked questions about the issues posed in that original text. It's self-analytical, but rarely gazes at delivering a knockout story that works on so many levels. The theme of connectivity fittingly weaves each disparate part together by exploring not only how we connect to each other, but with our own pasts as well, what we choose to hold on to and what we choose to let go. I don't think it's any coincidence that Neil resembles Solid Snake, a character whom Kojima has had to make peace with cutting ties with ever since his departure from Konami a decade ago. Death Stranding 2 almost feels like a funeral for his beloved bandana operative. Norman Reedus continues his stoic portrayal of Sam Porter Bridges and anchors the story with a calm, centered approach. I do find Sam a fairly impenetrable character to connect with on an emotional level though, as he again serves as a vehicle for the story rather than the personal heart of it. He is given more range to work in this time around, but his not too high, not too low performance once again allows for the supporting cast to shine. Léa Seydoux beguiles as Fragile, a layered character that the French actress elevates even further. Elle Fanning is fantastic as the enigmatic Tomorrow, and the mysterious Red Samurai is dripping with cool. It's the kind of
எனக்கு இதுதான் bro ரொம்ப பிடிச்சிருக்கு இந்த சாமுராய் ஒரு மைக்ல ஏதாச்சும் ப்ராப்ளம் லைக் லோவா இருக்கு நாய்ஸ் வருது அப்படியே தெரிஞ்சு பார்க்கலாம்.
And Death Stranding 2 really gives him the opportunity to cook again and again. I also have a soft spot for the aforementioned Doll Man, who makes the journey a little less lonely by accompanying you at all times on your utility. He's effectively a version of God of War's Mimir, but instead of funny retellings of myths and legend, we're treated to high school level interpretations of the themes of Moby Dick.
The proper shower, wouldn't you say?
The standout performer this time.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Jason Connell and Nate Fox from Sucker Punch Productions. Ghost of Tsushima was an honor to be a part of, and today Nate and I get to share more about our next game, Ghost of Yotei. We'll be sharing how we've crafted the game around exploration while keeping Atsu's tale of vengeance front and center. We'll also talk about ghost combat and how it's evolved. And we'll introduce for the first time some new special modes of play. But let's start things off first by talking about a Japanese folk legend, the Onryo.
வாவ் செமையா இருக்கே கிராஃபிக்ஸ் நல்லா இருக்கு.
The people of Ezo believe Atsu is an Onryo, a wrathful ghost bent on revenge. And they're half right. Atsu doesn't care if she lives or dies, so long as she can punish the Yotei 6, a ruthless gang who slaughtered her family. After 16 years in the south, she's returned home to put their spirits to rest.
ஃபுல்லா எல்லோவா இருக்கு. எல்லோ
It's warm memories of her family that propel her forward. It's warm memories of her family that propel her forward. When Atsu returns to her childhood home, with the push of a button, you can experience those cherished times.
இதாங்க புதுசா சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தாங்க. லைக் வந்து நம்ம ஒரே இடத்துல வந்து மாறிக்கலாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு புதுசா ட்ரை பண்றேன்னு சொன்னாங்க.
The wound of her loss becomes personal.
புதுசா ஒரு சிஸ்டம் கொண்டு வரேன்னு சொல்லிருந்தாங்க.
That pushes her forward. Hunting down the Yotei 6.
ஒரே இடத்துல வந்து பாஸ்ட் ஃபியூச்சர் ரெண்டுத்துமே கொண்டு வராங்க ப்ரோ கேம் பிளேல.
She'll face 1,000 blades. But the Onryo is relentless. And with each victory, the ghost story around her grows.
டே சேம்ங்க கோஸ்ட் ஆஃப் ட்சுஷிமாவே தாங்க. சப் ஆன் பண்ணுங்க. சப் என்ன ப்ரோ சப்னா புரியல.
Yotei focuses on player freedom more than any game Sucker Punch has ever made. But it's also a game that at its heart is inspired by so many of our favorite wandering samurai films. So let's start off by talking about exploration at the edge of Japan. We all have different playstyles, so we set out to make an open world game that lets you drive
open
your
world.
own
சூப்பரா இருக்குங்க
experiences. Whether that's your curiosity to wander, your thirst for combat, or a deep desire to stay focused on the story.
கோஸ்ட் ஆஃப் ட்சுஷிமால எனக்கு பிடிச்சது அதான்.
As you explore, there's an
Update
underlying clue system that invites you to new adventures in new areas of the game that could be appealing to you. If you interrogate an enemy, choosing to ask about the Oni, you could uncover a landscape scarred by fire with more bold, samurai-like enemies to fight and abilities for Atsu to learn. Or if you ask about the Kitsune, might lead you to an area filled with snow and deception, enemies that ambush you, and new ninja-like tactics to study.
Okay.
Atsu draws cards for each clue to keep track of all available adventures. The more you play, the more the game unfolds for you. As she makes progress against the Yotei 6, her legend as the Onryo grows.
It's her.
Bounty will go up, drawing the attention of deadlier foes.
Are you lost?
I'm looking for some old friends. The Yotei 6.
Show her the door.
There is a hefty price on Atsu's head. Now, Atsu can also hunt down her own bounties that bring her all around the land. This is a lucrative way to make some money to fuel her vengeance quest.
Old. தொப்பி தாங்க மாசு.
You're not off plan, Eguchi. You're here for my bounty.
கேம் பிளே கொஞ்சம் ஒரு மாதிரியா இருக்க மாதிரி இருக்கு.
Hidden in the world are
சரி
altars
பண்றான்னு
of
நினைக்கிறேன்.
reflection.
குவாலிட்டி ஒரு மாதிரியா இருக்க மாதிரி ஃபீல்
inspires
ஆகுது.
Atsu and
4K ல தான்
unlocks a new
வச்சிருக்கேன்.
ability to help her on the
Okay.
journey ahead. Help her on the journey ahead.
2Kக்கு மாத்திட்டேன்.
They are
Gameplay
fun to
கொஞ்சம்
find on their
different-ஆ
own,
இருக்கு.
but
Like,
for a quicker route,
graphics
you can
ஒரு
always
இதுவா
buy
இருக்கு.
a
Gameplay
traveler's
graphics.
map from the cartographer. Ghost of
இது நல்லா இருக்கு.
Yotei
சினிமாட்டிக் நல்லா இருக்கு.
isn't going to rush you through anything. You can choose what motivates you most. But we think the best way to play is to simply pull out your spyglass, find something interesting on the
ஸ்பை
horizon,
கிளாஸ்லாம் இருக்கா?
and
லைக்
enjoy the ride.
பைரேட்ஸ் மாதிரி. அதான் கோஸ்ட் ஆஃப் துசிமாவே இந்த ஃபீல் தான். இந்த ரைடிங் பண்ற ஃபீல் தனி கோஸ்ட் ஆஃப் துசிமால. இந்த வேர்ல்டு ஒரு டிஃப்ரெண்டா காட்டுவாங்க.
The lands around Yotei are fast.
செம்மையா இருக்கும்.
It's not about checking it all off, it's about engaging in the content that gets you excited.
இதுதான் எனக்கு கொஞ்சம் இதுவா இருக்கும்.
Embrace
இந்த
that
சைடு
curiosity
கோஸ்ட்.
and let the wind guide you on your hunt.
மியூசிக்.
Ezo is a dangerous place. Atsu always wields a weapon. As for which, that's up to you. Will you choose a katana, spear, a surigama,
ஷேடோங்க ஷேடோ.
or dual swords? Each is uniquely effective against a particular enemy and has their own set of upgrades to discover and master.
எனக்கு என்னன்னா அந்த ப்ளீடு கட்டானா பாய்சன் கட்டானா அந்த ஷேடோல எல்லாம் கொண்டு வந்திருக்காங்களா, அதெல்லாம் இதுல கொண்டு வந்தா நல்லா இருக்கும்னு
Let's
தோணுது.
see how she uses these weapons.
ஃபயர் கட்டானா அதெல்லாம் கொண்டு வந்தா
Searching
சூப்பரா
for
இருக்கும்.
leads on Lord Saito.
This is our food, from our soil. The soldiers need it more to free you.
Free us. Inokichi steals our crops while our families starve.
Atsu's no samurai or ninja. No. She's a lone wolf mercenary who'll use every advantage, every dirty trick to win a fight. Combat has the feel of a classic samurai movie. Every motion counts. It's about lethal precision. If an enemy swings hard, Atsu can lose her weapon. But if she's quick, she can disarm them.
என்ன கட்டானாவா பின்னாடி வச்சிருக்கீங்க?
Choose the right weapon for the job.
லாங் கட்டானாங்க.
To fight a massive enemy, her huge
Hey,
odachi
சமங்க.
blade is best.
சூப்பருங்க, லாங் கட்டானாங்க. ஓடு. அம்மா கட்டானாங்க இது. இப்பா. சூப்பர். இதான் எதிர்பார்த்தேன், லாங் கட்டானா இருக்குமான்னு. ஷேடோல அதை மிஸ் பண்ணிட்டான்.
He looks like the one in charge.
இந்த கட்டானா தாங்க எனக்கு ரொம்ப பிடிக்கும். நாளைக்குப்பா. ஓடு.
Blades are great, but ranged weapons work too. And Atsu's got an arsenal.
Bounty hunter? A ghost.
Thrown weapons like kunai, bombs, or even blinding powder can give Atsu an edge. When enemies switch weapons, you'll have to adapt. dual swords are best against spears.
ஓடு 2 ஸ்வாடுங்க 2 ஸ்வாடு சரி இதெல்லாம் நான் எதிர்பார்த்தேன் ப்ரோ 2 ஸ்வாட்லாம் வந்து செம்ம ஸ்வாடு இதெல்லாம் இருக்குமா நான் எதிர்பார்த்தேன் ஷேடோல இல்ல
Atsu doesn't always fight alone. She'll meet several allies on her hunt, including a mysterious wolf.
Atsu can set up camp under the stars of Ezo. But she's not always alone.
Hey friend, share your fire with
என்ன
the traveling
பிசிக்கு தான்
peasant.
வராது
What are you
PS5
selling?
A mask said to be cursed with the unpredictable nature of its
இது
previous
ஒண்ணு தாங்க
owner.
எனக்கு பிடிக்கல போனிக்கிட்ட
Camping under the stars is a great way to rest up, play your shamisen, or cook to ready for a fight ahead. It's also designed to help bring important characters and upgrades straight to you. In fact, in place of the journal menu from Ghost of Tsushima, we've opted for a more character-driven way of managing allies and
ஓ
vendors you meet
சூப்பர்ல
in Ezo.
கேரக்டர் இந்த மாதிரி
Over
கொடுக்குது
time, Atsu grows to have her own wolf pack. And here, you can keep track of when a sensei might have a weapon skill for you, or when a vendor has something unique to sell. Managing upgrades, resources, when to buy what, can be a burden in a big open world game. At campsites, members of your wolf pack can catch up with you, offering upgrades and unique items. This helps ensure you have every opportunity to upgrade and prepare for Atsu's vengeance quest ahead. You don't have to
Super,
leave where you're
super, super.
exploring, the game comes to you.
கஸ்டமைசேஷன்
While
Vangada,
exploring
vangada.
Ezo, you'll discover all sorts of new armor, charms, and
இதுதான்
gear. Perfect for building up Atsu around your chosen playstyle. Are you stealth, ranged, or melee focused? Find and combine the pieces that are just right for you. And of course, customize the look of your armor and weapons to make
Oh,
sure that
customization
your
பண்ணிக்கலாம்.
version of Atsu looks
பிடிச்ச மாதிரி
and fights just the way you want.
என்ன மெயில் ப்ரோட்டகனிஸ்டும் கொடுத்துருந்தா நல்லா இருந்திருக்கும்
The score of Ghost of Yotei is incredibly special to us.
எதுக்கு சவுண்டை கம்மி பண்ணி
Our amazing composer, Toma Otoa, has created a mashup of
Music
Eastern
copyrights கொடுத்துட்டாங்க.
instrumentation with Western flavors, brought to life through an exciting collaboration of many talented artists.
PS5 வச்சிருக்கவங்களுக்கு குஷி தான் அக்டோபர் மாதம்
こうダウンビートまで
If you like what you heard, we're releasing 2 tracks featured in today's State of Play on your
Order.
favorite streaming service immediately after the show.
ரிமோட்ஸ் சொல்லுங்க இதுக்கு தான் வெயிட்டிங்
The digital photography community for Ghost of Tsushima is incredible.
ஃபோட்டோகிராஃபி மோடா
We're happy to have photo mode back in Ghost of Yotei and look forward to seeing photos
Color change
of your
பண்ணிக்கலாமா?
journey across
Okay.
Ezo.
ஓ கலர் கிரேடிங்கும் பண்ணலாம் டைமு டே மாற்றிக்கலாம்
We
And
want
it-
playing through Ghost of Yotei to
Okay.
feel like stepping inside of your
Subtitle.
favorite
Samurai
classic
in cinema.
films. So, from the beginning of the game, we're happy to
Mm.
offer full Japanese voice track,
ஓ ஓகே
full
ஓகே
lip
ஓகே
sync that you can play with subtitles.
誰だてめえ
ஏன் நாகக்கீபா இருக்குங்க அது போதுங்க எனக்கு இந்த மாதிரி 2 கட்டானா பிடிக்கலாம் செம்மையா கேம் பிளே தெரிக்கும் 2 கட்டானா எதுலையுமே கிடையாது இது வரையும்
息の根止めた
நான் வந்த சாமுரை கேம்ஸ்ல
また会えたな刀か
ஷேடோவில் இருக்குமான்னு எதிர்பார்த்தா அதுலேயும் இல்லை
覚えておけ。圧だ。
To take the feeling of stepping into a classic samurai cinema experience one step further, we are honored to once again partner with acclaimed director Akira Kurosawa's estate for Kurosawa Mode, which emulates his classic black and white films.
Black and white. என் ஃப்ரெண்டு ஆர்ஆர் ப்ரோலாம் ஃபஸ்ட் நாளே போட்டுருவாரு. என்னால் தான் பண்ண முடியாது. ஒரு வருஷம் வெயிட் பண்ணணும். வேறு விடுங்க பார்த்துக்கலாம். வருஷம் பிசிக்கு செதுக்குவானுங்க.
For Ghosts of Yotei, we wanted to celebrate two other influential directors who have had an impact on the genre as a whole. Partnered with Takeshi Miike, director of 13 Assassins, for a mode that puts the camera closer during combat for a more intense, raw experience along with increased mud and blood splatter. And lastly, we've partnered with the director of Samurai Champloo, Shinichiro Watanabe. Turn this mode on to listen to some original lo-fi tracks directed by Watanabe himself. There's so many ways to make your Ghost of Yotei playthrough your own. But no matter how you play, here's one way to experience Ghost of Yotei that is sure to be special.
Yes. Sambar app. October 2. இதுதான் எனக்கு பிடிக்கல guys. எனக்கு பிடிக்கல.
Today, you've got a glimpse into Atsu's hunt for the Yotei 6. Forge your own path while discovering the secrets of Ezo. To survive, you'll need to master a variety of weapons, using lethal precision to overcome the odds and take revenge as the Onryo. Ghost of Yotei comes out on October 2nd. Thank you so much for watching.
Ghost of Yotei. பா தெரியுங்க, சூப்பராக இருந்தது, உண்மையால் நல்லா இருந்தது. அதுவும் எனக்கு அந்த நாககீபா டியூல் கட்டை நான் கொண்டு வராம பார்த்தீங்களா, அது எனக்கு நிறைய கேமில் எதிர்பார்த்தேன். நிறைய கேமில் அதை எதிர்பார்த்தேங்க. ஷேடோவில் கூட அந்த நாககீபா அந்த இது இருக்குமான்னு எதிர்பார்த்தேன். லைக் டியூல் கட்டான், அது இல்லை, இதில் கொண்டு வரான். சூப்பர், அது ரொம்ப பிடிச்சது. அது வெப்பன்லே உண்மையாக இருக்குது, நல்லாயிருக்கு. என்ன பண்ணுறது, PS5 மட்டும்தான் எக்ஸ்க்ளூசிவ், இதுவும் பண்ண முடியாது. நிறைய பேர் பாசிட்டிவாகவும் போடுறாங்க, நெகட்டிவாகவும் போடுறாங்க. ஹாய் ப்ரோ, பத்ரிநாத் ப்ரோ, வாங்க, என்ன லேட்டாக வந்துட்டீங்க, பார்த்துட்டீங்களா? கோஸ்ட் ஆஃப் யோட்டாயை தெரி, ஆனால் என்ன PS5க்கு மட்டும் வருதான் ப்ரோ. வாங்க ரீஜன் ப்ரோ, ஏதாச்சும் கேம் ஆடுங்க ப்ரோ. இப்போ தான் ப்ரோ முடித்தேன் ஷேடோ, இப்போ தான் ஷேடோ முடித்தேன். பார்த்தீங்களா ப்ரோ, கோஸ்ட் ஆஃப் யோட்டாயே தெரிக்குது ப்ரோ, செம்மையாக இருக்குது ப்ரோ, நல்லாயிருக்கு. பட் ஆனால் PS5க்கு மட்டும்தான் வருமா ப்ரோ? ஆர்ஆர் ப்ரோ ஃபஸ்ட் நாளே போட்டுருவாரு, நீங்களும் போட்டுருவீங்க. நாங்கள் உங்கள் ஸ்ட்ரீமுக்கு வரோம் கண்டிப்பாக. உங்களால் விளையாட தான் முடியாது, பார்க்கலாம். எதா பார்த்துட்ருக்கீங்களா? சூப்பர் ப்ரோ, உண்மையிலே செம்மையா இருந்தது ப்ரோ. கமெண்ட்ஸ்லாம் பார்க்குறேன். கிராஃபிக்ஸ் தான் ப்ரோ லைக் இதுவாக இருக்குது. என்ன சொல்கிறது, கேம் பிளே கிராஃபிக்ஸு சினிமாட்டிக் கிராஃபிக்ஸ் நல்லாயிருக்கு. கேம் பிளே கிராஃபிக்ஸ் அந்த அளவுக்கு சாட்டிஸ்ஃபேக்ஷனாக பண்ணல. ஏன்னு தெரியல, PS5க்கு அப்படி பண்ணியிருக்காங்களா என்னன்னு தெரில. பட் கேம் பிளே கிராஃபிக்ஸ் மட்டும் கொஞ்சம் இதுவாக இருக்குது ப்ரோ. நல்லா நல்லா தெரியல ப்ரோ. என்ன புரியல ப்ரோ? நான் நல்லா இல்லை தெரியல ப்ரோன்னு சொல்கிறேன். கோ டு த ப்ரீ ஆர்டர் திஸ் ஒன் ஆஃப் தி செப்டம்பர் லாஸ்ட் வீக் போட போகிறேன். ஓ, ப்ரீ ஆர்டர் பண்ண போகிறீங்களா? சூப்பர் ப்ரோ, ஒர்த்து ப்ரோ. திருப்பி ஒரு வாட்டி பார்க்கலாமா?
is in Shadows, and there's some returning ones, obviously from Tsushima, but I really like the sound of wielding an odachi and just
ஆக்சுவலாக எனக்கு எது தெரியுங்களா பிடிச்சிருக்கு, இந்த கேம் பிளே இருக்குது பார்த்தீங்களா, நாககிபா ஒரு வெப்பன், பெரிய கட்டானா, அது எல்டன் ரிங்கில் இருக்கும். எனக்கு ரொம்ப பிடிச்ச ஃபேவரட்டான கட்டானா. அந்த கட்டானா இதில் கொண்டு வரானுங்கன்னு போது தான் எனக்கு ரொம்ப பிடிச்சிருந்து. வித் டியூல் கட்டானா. இந்த கட்டானா தான் பின்னாடி வச்சுக்கேன். டியூல் கட்டானா, 2 கட்டானா. டபுள் கட்டானா கொண்டு வராங்க ப்ரோ. அது எந்த சாமுராய் கேம்லையும் இது வரையும் லைக் இது சோல்ஸ் கேமில் இருக்குது. மற்றபடி சாமுராய் கேமு, ஏசி ஷேடோஸு, கோஸ்ட் ஆஃப் திசுமா பழைசு அதில் கூட கிடையாது. இதில் அது கொண்டு வரானுங்க. அது நல்லாயிருக்கும். டியூல் கட்டானா வேறு அம்மா பவர் வெறிக்கும். என்ன அந்த பாய்சனு, ப்ளீடு அந்த மாதிரிலாம் கொண்டு வந்தாங்கன்னா, இந்த ஷேடோவில் கொண்டு வந்தாங்களா கட்டானாவில், அந்த மாதிரி அதில் கொண்டு வந்தாங்கன்னா இன்னும் நல்லாயிருக்கும். நார்மல் கட்டானா இல்லாமல் ப்ளீடு கட்டானா, ஃபயர் கட்டானா, ஃபயர் கூட வேணாம், லைக்கு நான் பாய்சன் கட்டானா அதெல்லாம் கொண்டு வந்தால் இன்னும் சூப்பராக. சொல்ல மாதம் கேம்
I don't know. I'm not wild about the woodwind stuff, but I love
அப்பதான் நியூ
shamisen
கேம்ஸ்
banjo
வாங்க
music.
முடியும்.
The old
ஓகே,
school.
பட்ஜெட் போட்டு
Like,
வாழணுன்றீங்களா?
it gave me kind of I'm a big fan of
லுக் சிமிலியர் கோஸ்ட் ஆஃப் திசுமா கிராஃபிக்ஸ், பட் ஸ்டில் இம்ப்ரூவ்மெண்ட் இருக்குது கிராஃபிக்ஸ் அண்ட் கேம் பிளே. ஓகே ப்ரோ, இருந்தால் நல்லாயிருக்கும். ஏன்னா எனக்கு அந்த மற்றதெல்லாம் சூப்பர், கேம் பிளேலாம் நல்லா இருந்தது. பட்டு எனக்கு இதுதான் அந்த கிராஃபிக்ஸ் தான் கொஞ்சம் இடிச்சது. சினிமாட்டிக் கிராஃபிக்ஸ் நல்லாயிருக்கும், அது எப்போவுமே தெரிஞ்சது தான் நம்ம கோஸ்ட் ஆஃப் யோட்டையில், சாரி கோஸ்ட் ஆஃப் திசுமாவில். பட் கேம் பிளே கிராஃபிக்ஸ் ஒரு மாதிரியா இருந்தது. நிறைய பேர் அதான் கமெண்ட்லேயும் சொல்கிறாங்க, PS4 கிராஃபிக்ஸ் மாதிரி இருக்குது அப்படின்றாங்க. டெவலப் பண்ணாங்கன்னா இன்னும் நல்லாயிருக்கும். ஷேடோஸ்லாம் கிராஃபிக்ஸ் வேறு மாதிரி கொண்டு வந்துட்டான்ல. பட் இவன் அதை டெவலப் பண்ணி கொண்டு வந்தானா இன்னும் தெரியும் வேறு லெவல் கேம். சினிமாட்டிக் கிராஃபிக்ஸ் நல்லா இருக்கு. கேம் பிளே கிராஃபிக்ஸ் மட்டும் கொஞ்சம்
They seem
இடிக்குது.
to really want to be like, they don't want to make it about doing chores or backtracking, and so like you'll set up camp for the night, and instead of having to go and like find a dude to do your upgrades,
Looks
that guy will
similar
like
to
come to
Ghost
your
of
camp
Tsushima
and be like,
graphics,
hey,
but
I've
this
got a cool new
improvement
thing
இருக்கும்.
for you.
நான் எனக்கு
That's
சொல்றேன்
what that
ப்ரோ,
was, right? That's what I
ஊக்காங்
expected.
தவிர நான் நியூ கேம்ஸ் எதுவும் வாங்கினது இல்லை. ஓ அப்படியா, ஓகே ஓகே. ஊக்காங் தவிர எதுவுமே வாங்கினது இல்லைன்றீங்களா? இது கண்டிப்பாக வாங்குங்க ப்ரோ, செம்மையாக இருக்கு ப்ரோ கேமு. எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு ஒரு 4000 5000 இருப்பான்னு நினைக்கிறேன். நிறைய கொண்டு வந்திருக்கான் ப்ரோ இம்ப்ரூவ்மெண்ட், புது டெக்னிக்ஸ்லாம் கொண்டு வந்திருக்கான். இந்த பாருங்க, இந்த எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸும் நல்லா இருக்கு.
kind of look at all the different characters and be like, oh, that's exactly where this
Samurai
place
cinema.
is on the map.
I
You
really
don't remember where these 12 NPCs or however
I
many
really
there
love the HUD, like the different, not just the HUD, but the UI they
In
showed off. Like the
டெவலப்மெண்ட்ல
fact that
லெட்ஸ் சி.
there's the card
ஆமாம் ப்ரோ,
system
டெவலப்மெண்ட்ல
for
இருக்கு. ஓகே,
you know
5K தான்,
finding
5K
clues,
தான்.
finding new side quests and stuff. Again, it's like
அது
it's kind
மட்டும்
of
அவனுங்க டெவலப்
hard to get a
பண்ணிட்டாங்கன்னா
feel
நல்லா
exactly
இருக்கும்.
how it's going to play
நான்
out
பொறுத்த
until I'm
வரையும்
actually doing it
கேம்
myself.
பிளே
But
மட்டும்
it
கிராஃபிக்ஸ்
certainly looks
நல்லா
novel. And then
பண்ணிட்டானா
there's
ஓகே.
the thing you're referring to, Jada, where it's the whole lineup of all the different characters.
நான் கோஸ்ட் ஆஃப்
And
திசுமா
I don't know, I'm just like so tired.
கோஸ்ட் ஆஃப் திசுமா எப்பயோ வந்தது ப்ரோ. அதுவே வந்து கிராஃபிக்ஸ் தெரிக்கும். இப்போ பழைய கேம் அதுவே கிராஃபிக்ஸ் வேறு லெவலில் இருக்குன்னா, இந்த கேமு புதுசு 2025 இறக்குறான்னா இன்னும் தெரிக்கணும் கிராஃபிக்ஸு. அதனால தான் சொல்கிறேன். அதெல்லாம் வந்து அடிச்சிக்க முடியாது கோஸ்ட் ஆஃப் திசுமா அப்போதைக்கு கிராஃபிக்ஸில்.
Really, they kept pushing the kind of the fact that they want to let people figure out how they want to play the game, and also they want to keep them in that world. You know, like it seems like there's a big emphasis on not breaking the immersion by making it about hopping
Customize
into your
பண்ணிக்கலாம்.
inventory screen
பெருசா
and juggling that. Like,
நல்லா
there's
சேஞ்ச்.
obviously going to be some of that, but like again, they had in the same way that you know, you'd follow the wind in Tsushima, and this time you can run along with flower trails, and it'll give your horse a boost, and you can, you know, go off in any direction. And like, I don't know, it's, you would think that open world game design would have been kind of figured out by now, but again, people kind of trip over themselves here and there, making big, huge worlds to explore and forgetting the fact that the appeal of these things in the first place is giving players the freedom and choice to approach them however they want. And it seems like, I don't know, seems like they know what they're doing over there.
Yeah, I agree. I think I have a feeling they'll probably add
ஆம்பளை
in
பொம்பளைன்னு
stuff
தெரியல,
for people
நடுவுல
with this
இருக்கிறவன்
checklist, right?
என்ன உமனா
Because there are those people, and there's, you know, no shade to them, but like
என்ன அது
that's, I think at the end of the day, like I've played pretty much every open world game that's every big open world game ever at this point, right? And they all basically go in with these great ambitions of like, we have this, you know, bold new way to blah 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 to keep you from fast traveling, and you experiment with it for the first few hours, and then, you know, 5-10 hours in, you're like, all right, just get me to my mission, get me to my thing. So I think all that stuff will be fun and in theory, and in practice it remains to be seen if you're going to keep doing it for 20, 30, 40 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think at the very least, what I'm looking forward to here, and again, Max, you brought it up, like, it's pretty much impossible to not talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows. Like that game was awesome. It's also still really popular and selling really well. I think there was a very different conversation before that game came out, where people were like, "Oh, this is make it or break it for Ubisoft." It remains to be seen if that's still the case. But it was a really good game, right? Like it's really awesome, and I rolled credits on it. I loved it. I'm seeing this today makes me want to go back and play it some more. There's a lot in that game that, like, I think people wanted, that, you know, they wanted out of Ghost of Tsushima, and there's a lot that people wanted out of the Assassin's Creed franchise in general, and they kind of nailed both of those things. And so it took the wind out of the sails of this game for me a little bit, but also by the time October comes around, I will, you know, I'll be ready for more, probably. It would be very sneaky if Ubisoft was like, hey, by the way, we're launching DLC in late September or whatever, you know, get people back in one more time. But I will say one thing I didn't really like about Shadows was traversal outside of like the parkour stuff, which was amazing. They sort of by design made a bunch of really dense forests and hills that were hard to climb up. And yeah, there was just a lot of like sliding and getting stuck behind trees and jammed in logs and stuff like that. And I'm hoping that's something that, like, that's, you know, that's not something I'll have to worry about in Yotei. It seems like I'll be able to get around easily. And they're doing the, you know, traditional, everybody's got a grappling hook and everybody slides now. I'm sure we'll get to shimmy through some tight crevices to
climb up some mountains.
Yeah, climb up some mountains and stuff like that. We get to do all of that. But, you know, Yotei is the sequel to, I think, one of the most special video games ever made. And so, like, I have no doubt that they're going to go in with, you know, their own brushstrokes here. No pun intended. I think this is going to stand on its own. And so I'll gladly play both. It's crazy that they both came out, you know, within 6 months of each other or whatever it is. But
yeah, it'll be 8 by that point.
It'll be 8 by that point. Yeah, but like, you know, there's room for both. Like I think that, like, there's something about the art direction in this game that's just really special to me. And I can't wait for it.
You know, the one thing, you know, last thing I'll say about Shadows, and then let's focus on Yotei, but Shadows had some gorgeous vistas. Like the climbing synchronization points were gorgeous. There's just some gorgeous looks, and that's something we're definitely going to get here. We saw that throughout the trailer. There's just so many gorgeous looking scenery in Yotei just from this little bit we got. Her running across the different the forest. There's also the horse riding and such. We're going to get some really gorgeous, like, just drop dead gorgeous looks in this game, and I'm very excited for that. There's still, I can't think of a better opening than what we got with Tsushima, with the riding through the fields as the credits start to pop up. Like, that is cinema, as they say. That is cinema. And so I'm very excited to see how that evolves, and if Yotei takes that away from Tsushima, like if it one-ups it, like I really hope it does. But I'd be happy with you know, if they just tie. But like the scenery is gonna look gorgeous in this game, because the wizards over at Sucker Punch, they know what they're doing when crafting these areas for us to explore and just have fun in.
Well, the thing that's
Yeah,
really
they-
cool is that it's, this is a PlayStation game. This is a PlayStation
Yep.
exclusive. It's, presumably going to stay that way until they eventually put it on a PC probably. But like they've been focusing on making this run on effectively one machine and taking as much advantage of that as they can. We got a glimpse very early on of the sort of flashback sequences where you're in a, you're in her like family home, and you can immediately toggle back to when she was a child, which immediately reminded me of the portals in Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, where it was just like, oh, this thing is running two parallel dimensions basically. And I'm not sure how much that's actually going to, like, that seems like the kind of thing where it'll be sort of like a side mission or like a mission flavor or whatever, where like you go to certain areas and you do this, and it's really adding context to the story. But we got a similar thing, and we've got a similar things in plenty of games, but it's usually just like sort of it feels like going to a different level or something. Like it doesn't feel like you're actually, it's like a cutscene, or it's a the camera fogs up and then you're in like a little mini side mission, what have you. And I don't know, that just seems like a cool way of interacting with the world a little bit.
Yeah, I was wondering about that one, because I don't think it'll be like the whole game has a flashback button or whatever, but it seems like a fun place to experiment. Again, it's like it's something Shadows did too, which is funny. Like not the button, but
yeah, I imagine they're gonna have like key locations, and like a prompt will pop up to push the touchpad to revisit the past or something like that.
I feel like it's definitely a more appealing alternative to doing a small meditation rhythm game. To again, that's the conversation that's gonna be happening at the end of this year, is who did what better. Like there's gonna be plenty to talk about in that department. I really like the shots of I'm pretty sure that's what's happening, but inspecting your sword up close. Like we get a shot of she's like holding the sword, and there's another shot of you can cook fish on the fire, and it's like these little glimpses of a first person perspective. It's kind of a neat way to add to the immersion without fully committing to doing anything in first person, which I feel like would be possibly nauseating in this game. But yeah.
I liked what they were saying about combat being just sort of grittier this time. Like she's not a samurai. This is not like really like a balanced, like professionally trained, like this is like just a savage fighter on a revenge trip. And that sounds really fun to me. Like
there's no rules on the road to revenge.
Yeah, exactly. I love that's the way I play like third person games anyway, right? Like I'm not really parrying, and I'm not really like I like Jada, you're one of those people that gets like you can nail like combos and parries perfect and all that, and I'm just like, I will run up on you and just slash you to pieces as hard as I can. And that's so I want to play like that. I want to play gritty and grimy and just go to town. I was saying to you all before, like I really wish when they were naming the directors that inspired new modes, they had gone with a RZA mode, because I want like Wu-Tang sound effects, and I want like hard New York 90s beats, and I want that. I want to that I want Ghost Dog basically.
They gotta save something for the third one if they do that.
Yeah,
PlayStation
I will say
7 or whatever.
We've been talking all year about like, oh, are you going to get a PS5 Pro for GTA 6? Oh, it got delayed to next year, blah, 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 blah. I want to get a PS5 Pro for this. Like, this is the first game where I'm like, oh, that's what I need it for. Because like I'm fine with playing third-party games, or PS5 games that came out of the last few years, and getting a decent boost on them and stuff like that. But like, this is a brand new, this generation exclusive game coming exclusively to PlayStation platforms for now, right? Like Max said, it'll come to PC eventually, but like I want to play this as in the best way possible. And so I'm kind of irked that I bought a PS5 at launch, because I can't get those faceplates and put them on. So like, what are we doing here?
Those are probably plates for the Slim and the Pro, most likely.
Yep. That's our treat for being early adopters.
I have to hope that, because it says bundles and accessories, I have to hope that some of the stuff is going to be sold separately, as well as sold like for all models, we hope. I imagine some of them will probably be in lower quantities, but
I hate they always do these collector's editions for the base model. It's like, I would consider upgrading, but I feel like they're not going to do that until the PS5 6 is approaching and the PS5 Pro is they're trying to like get through inventory or whatever.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the wolf? The wolf looks cool.
Yeah. The wolf looks
That's
dope.
all I have to say. It looks like
notes
a
for me on
I
that
want to
one.
make the
Dope,
wolf
y'all.
go bite people. I think that's going to be fun.
I'm a
interested.
fan of the wolf.
I'm interested how that's going to come into play. Like, we've seen. I love that we're just like, let's compare this to Ubisoft games. I'm like, we've gotten how many Far Cry games where you just you can send your critters to go do stuff for you. I'm wondering if it's going to be as robust as that, or if it's just going to be sort of having an NPC companion who does, synchronized biting with you. But I'm into it.
Yeah, I mean, it would be really cool if, again, talking about another Ubisoft game, old school Splinter Cell games, where you could like mark targets and have like synchronized takedowns for people. That could be really cool aspect to market, and then your little wolf buddy goes and just takes them down at the same time as you. That would be a lot of fun. It'll be very interesting to see how this works AI wise and how smart the wolf is. Does the wolf get like better over time? Like, does it like actually learn your kind of style and do things that you would normally do, or is it kind of set in stone? Can you give different behaviors where it's like more on protection, more offensive, to where
game
it's
வேற
just
level bro
going
very
ham
good bro
on anything
bro
that
வாங்கிடுங்க
just
pre-order
aggro
பண்றேன்
anything nearby, or if does it can you set it to like defensive?
சூப்பரா இருக்கு bro game play
It'd be real interesting to see how this kind of works out.
A smart wolf
bro
wouldn't be
நோபிட்டா bro
anywhere
சாரி
near
தண்ணி
what's
புடிச்சிட்டு
going on in
வந்தேன் bro
this
அதான்
game. Why would it jump head first into a sword fight? Like that just looks like it's going to get decapitated.
அட bro game வாங்கிடுங்க விசி வாங்க
Dog
ஃப்ரீயா
word is for
இருந்தா
that. Dog capitated.
வாங்க bro
This looks like a good time. I feel like there's plenty of stuff they're not showing us. Again, I'm like, I was already sold on the game. I want to play the game very badly. I'm kind of almost like hesitant to even look at this too closely because I want to be surprised.
bro இல்ல கடுப்பா இருக்கு bro
definitely wet my appetite a bit. How are you both feeling?
பண்ணலாமா PS5
I'm liking the looks of it. I definitely want to see a little
PC
bit
gamer
more
தோற
of the stealth
PC
gameplay,
gamerோட
because I
பாவத்தை
feel like we didn't get a
கொட்டிக்கிறானுங்களே
lot in this trailer, but that also makes sense. This is the first like real gameplay trailer. They want to show off the action, and stealth is cool, but it's slower, and I feel like they were trying to stay for the most part like faster paced with this showcase until they got to the lo-fi beats at the
graphics
end.
மட்டும் கொஞ்சம் டெவலப் பண்ணாரா
That would
bro
have been cool to show the stealth
அந்த விசி வாங்க
gameplay
பேசுவோம்
to the lo-fi beats and just Samurai Champloo
graphics
just
மட்டும்
music
like
going and just assassinating
டெவலப்
like
பண்ணி
4
சொல்றாங்க
people in a row. That would have been cool.
கேம் ப்ளே வரும்போது தெரிஞ்சிரும்
But hey, notes for next time.
கேம் ப்ளே
But yeah, I
கிராஃபிக்ஸ்
think this will be
சினிமாட்டிக்
really cool. I
கிராஃபிக்ஸ்லாம்
really like the
சூப்பரா
idea of
இருக்கு
just
கேம் ப்ளே
swapping
கிராஃபிக்ஸ்
weapons
மட்டும் டெவலப்
as
பண்ணணும்
opposed to the stances, and we still don't know if the stances are gone. Because that was kind of the main thing in Tsushima, was swapping stances for different attack patterns. That could still be here. They could have just remapped some stuff around in place of changing weapons, but who knows? But I'm very excited.
The weapon தான் bro இந்த weapon
It
தான்
seems like that's the weapons are kind of replacing that.
அது கீபா
Because Atsu's kind of doing
பெரிய
her own thing.
கட்டானா
Like she's
லாங்
not,
கட்டானா
she's
அம்மா
not
கட்டானா bro
samurai
இது
turned ghost. Like which is I appreciate that. It's a novel approach. I like that you're just swapping weapons on the fly. I couldn't get a sense of, can you swap from all of them? Did they have like a little?
I imagine you'll probably be able to equip 3 or 4 of the weapon types, because I think they mentioned 5 or 6. I imagine it'll probably be like a D-pad swap, kind of like you with your ninja tools, when you could swap between smoke bombs and other gadgets and stuff you had in the first one.
Cool. I mean, I'm sold that she just took the Odachi and did the thing where you shake the blood off it. Like that's
yeah,
I love
that's
that.
awesome.
That's a good time.
No, I was always going to play this
நோபிட்டா
game.
bro விசி கூட வாங்க
And
விசி
I was
லிங்க் தரேன்
actually a little hesitant to even do my job at work today and watch this, because I was like, I'm sold. I don't need to see anything. And I'm happy to say that like I'm even more sold now. And also for a gameplay deep dive, this was fairly light on spoilery stuff. Like I didn't feel like there was anything that I'm like, oh man, you ruined the surprise there. And more that I was like, hey, you taught me a bunch about a thing that I was already excited for. So thank you for that. So yeah, this is, I mean, like I said before, this is like this is the big PlayStation game this year for me. This is the big PlayStation game this generation for me, until in Intergalactic and whatever else we don't know about yet. Like it's frankly been pretty light on big new PS5 generation exclusive games. And for me specifically, who loves playing like story driven or open world single player action games and stuff like that. I don't
Link
really
on
get into
second.
all the games as a service stuff and like run around in circles on the same multiplayer maps, whatever Concord was trying to do, or like I don't even care about Helldivers really. Like good for the people who play those. This is my shit. This is my jam right here. So like bring it on. I'm so excited that this is coming out this year. It like the more they show of it, the more it seems like they're confident that this is not going to get delayed. And yeah, this is going to be one of the biggest games this fall. For me specifically, I don't really care about anybody else.
You know what's cool?
I can't wait.
You know what's great is they announced this game like last December, I think.
Yeah,
and now it's coming out in less than 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
I like that, and we don't know that. Like we've seen 20 minutes of it. That's cool. I like that. I appreciate that. That shows us an incredible amount of restraint. And yeah, I don't know. It's
not a remaster of a PS4 game, which is cool.
That's a thrill.
Or a PS3 game.
Or a PS3 game, yeah.
One thing I just picked up on, that scene that they showed when both Atsu and the wolf strike the two enemies at the same time. That's one of those like random encounters where you can kind of like agree to that starter duel at the start, and if you like hit the button at the right time to counter, like you get that insta kill. That's what that is there. So that's really cool that they include your wolf to be able to take out two people, because I believe, if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I played through the core game of Tsushima, but I think you could upgrade it later where you could take out two people or more once you got it upgraded. So it's cool that they've implemented that in a unique way to Yotei.
Now with dogs. Was there anything else about this you want to talk about, or are we ready to move on?
No, I'm interested to see what they do in terms of special editions and stuff like that. We know about the consoles and accessories, but I do wonder if they'll do like a statue or like something.
They did. They've already shown that.
Oh, they showed that already. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it comes
Great.
with like the mask and a bunch of other little doodads. And
Sweet.
Such. So.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, if you're watching me from home, you could tell I enjoy collectibles and.
Then my big question is, are we going to get Legends mode?
Potrebbe farci pensare a un 2026 che potrebbe essere
Yotei limited edition bundles featuring new intricate console designs with matching
Humble. Now is a great time to score some incredible games through Humble. You can live through August 5th. You can grab Warhammer 40k, Rogue Trader, Daemon X Machina, Death's Door, Cat Quest 3, and more. And every purchase supports a good cause. And this month, your Humble Choice membership supports Covenant House. You get a curated mix of PC games every month, all for just $14.99 a month. Whether you're building your backlog or discovering something new, it is the perfect time to pick up these fan favorites. So head to humble.com and check those out.
Okay. Play Death's Door, by the way. That game is awesome.
That game rules.
Also, I really like the Cat Quest games, and I'm not a cat person at all, but they're just really fun action RPGs.
They're cute, yeah. So we do have some other big Ghost of Yotei news. This is maybe the weirdest way anything has leaked, but somebody spied on Sucker Punch by peeping through their window and filming them with like a long-range camera, like a pervert.
Yeah,
and I guess it's definitely amusing, but it's also deeply unsettling. And it's kind of nice that like it popped up on, I think it was Gaming Leaks and Rumors, or somebody put it on Twitter, and it was just immediately everyone was like, "Get this out of here! Put this guy in jail! This is awful! Why would you do that? Don't do that." You know, it's one thing when something sort of leaks organically, or release date shows up on a website or whatever, or somebody leaves a flash drive on the bus, but like just creeping around with like a long like a telephoto lens and spying through windows is just absurd. So
was it like to their studio?
Yes, to like this the Sucker Punch HQ, like their main offices. Let's see, it's
okay. Now don't give out the address. No, sounded like you were like, oh, it's a.
No, I have it here up on Google Maps. I'm gonna see. Let's see. Oh, no,
don't do that. No, not justifying this at all, but like don't do this ever, but especially don't do this for a game where it's just like, what are you even really going to see? You know, it's not like you're zooming in on the next Smash Brothers game and you're going to tell the world that, like, you know, you can unlock a Bobo from Double Dragon or something like that. Like, you're not bringing any new information. You're going to be like, guys, I zoomed in, you know what I saw? They got mountains in this game, they got sword fights.
Also,
There's
to
the
do
wind.
that like 2 days before they just show 20 minutes of the game and they're like, check out what we've been working on. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like if you're spying through a office window at this game, with all due respect to you know, the new game, I feel like it's just going to look like the old game if you're looking at it through a window from far away. That's just a weird way to go about it. So don't.
Yeah, that's just it's like the DoorDash guy is bringing food to your house and you get in his car.
What do you got in here? It smells good.
Yeah,
So
like,
weird.
It's on the way to your house.
That's very strange. Now we do have some actual news. Earlier this week, Naughty Dog surprised fans with a new mode for The Last of Us Part 2, which is the Chronological Experience Update, which is kind of a head scratcher, but seems sort of cool nonetheless. Obviously, The Last of Us Part 2 has a lot of flashbacks. It kind of jumps between, you know, parallel stories. This just takes everything and puts it in the order in which it happened. And that's it. That's how you can do it. If you do it, you can get some trophies and you can get some new costumes that are they make they're Uncharted costumes, which is like,
Yep.
yeah,
It's Drake and Sam.
yeah,
Outfits for Tommy and Joel.
which I mean,
They're pretty cool.
This is neat. You know, obviously, like I think, you know, Last of Us fans are kind of like sitting there twiddling their thumbs, and it's pretty clear that we're not going to be hearing about The Last of Us Part 3 for a cool minute, if ever. So I don't know. It's nice they're keeping the lights on over there.
I like this. And this is coming from someone who I will at this point openly admit that when the original game came out, I loved it. When the first season of the show came out, I loved it. When the second season of the show came out, I did not. And I'm pretty fatigued on this world and this story and these characters at this point. I'm always willing to give it another shot, you know, and if there's like I think that the original game is great. I think the sequel is amazing. I think the DLC between the two of them, Left Behind, is like also great. Like I like a lot of the stuff in here. But after the second season, I was like, I'm good on this story for a while, right? Like I will take a third story, but like I'm pretty good on The Last of Us Part 2 as a narrative device for a very long time. And then they were like, oh, we put out this new remixed version where like it opens with Abby, and I'm like, oh, well, that's actually that's the one way to get me to replay a game that I probably wouldn't have replayed anyway, right? So I think that's pretty interesting. I saw some folks like who are like big Last of Us fans talking about how it feels like a different game now. And there's thinking about how much stuff I loved in the second half of the game, based around Abby's story and sort of specific moments there, and getting to experience those earlier on is really interesting to me. So yeah, this is I think just from like a storytelling perspective, even if you hate the second game or not, this is really fascinating, and it's something I'd be interested to see other studios take a crack at. You know, like there are so many games that have flashback sequences. Ghost of Yotei is one of them. We just talked about it, but yeah, to have flashback sequences woven into the main narrative, but then playing those in the proper timeline order is really interesting to me. So yeah, I don't know if I'll go through a full replay, but I think I will boot this up and just see how it feels.
Yeah, it's odd. They recommend this is not a way for first time players to play it. It's more like this is a cool way of getting some different context and new perspectives on the story. It's also a fairly, I imagine, relatively low lift way to get some more mileage out of the game. You know, it's a immensely huge undertaking to make a AAA video game of this, you know, caliber, and this is a cool way to kind of be like, hey, you know, here's some more mileage. Here's an excuse for anybody who maybe, you know, there's other ways to play it. But yeah, it also kind of reminds me of just, I don't know, it's like taking an album and putting it on shuffle. But if it's already on shuffle, it's sort of, you know, it's weird. It reminds me of when I think there was like a recut version of Memento that put the entire game or the entire movie in normal order, and the whole appeal there was that it goes backwards, you know, like it's a mystery in reverse. Like that's just, you know, it kind of defeats the purpose. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of other games that could even accomplish this, but then most of the time you get flashbacks and they are like, you know, strictly narrative, very brief cutscene, walk and talk sequences, or they're tied to a tutorial, or they're, you know, you're unlocking something, and it wouldn't work like that. But it's kind of interesting how this game, you know, is able to do that, and that, you know, the flashback sequences aren't just treated as like a plot device. They're the game.
Yeah. I think this is a really cool, like you guys have said, I'll just kind of echo your points. I think this is a really cool addition for those who are the diehard, like biggest fans of The Last of Us. I think they're the ones that this mode is made for specifically. It's not really made for the casual audience, and that's okay. At this point, Last of Us 2 is what, 4 years old? 4 or 5 years old now at this point? 6 years? I can't remember when Last of Us 2 first dropped. Was
2020.
2020?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's about 5 years old. So like,
it's a pandemic baby.
yeah. And so I think this is really cool. And I think they mentioned in the blog post, like, you get to see how close Abby and Ellie came to crossing paths, or how close the various characters came to crossing paths. And I think that's some really cool revelations that can really
Yeah,
let's